Hi Scorpios, welcome to your May 2019 Astrology 33 reading. We have a Celtic cross spread in front of us. Usually 10 cards, but you got a couple extra cards in a position of hopes and fears. And then we have a couple of oracle cards, as always, that we go through to help tie everything together at the end, and also a mudra card to get to. So before I get into the main spread, hopefully you guys can be patient with me here, because I feel pulled to do something a little bit different. I was going to try to incorporate this message that I was feeling into the main spread, but then I thought it might be a little bit too confusing. So if you guys will just bear with me, and I think you guys will understand. You guys are pretty understanding as a whole, especially when it comes to your fellow Scorpios. But I was really feeling a specific message popping out, and I know that there's no way that this is going to be for most of you. It might just be for a handful of you, maybe even just one person. So I'm just going to speak to that first, and then we'll get to the main spread, alright? So keep in mind, this is technically, even though it's involving these cards here in the spread, this is separate from the main spread. So hopefully you guys followed with that. So to get to that now, a message that kept coming out to me as I was looking at these cards when I was laying them out. I got a feeling here with the Death card in reverse. Now, you guys understand more than any sign, being that this is the major arcana card for your sign, that when we see the Death card, very rarely does it actually have to do with actual physical death, right? But then as the cards started to come out one by one, I got this feeling that for some of you, you've really been thinking about someone who might have passed. It may have been very recently, or it may have been a while back. So for those of you, if that resonates, that's what I'm getting with the Death card in reverse. So to tie into that, having the Queen of Cups also coming up in a challenge position, the thing that came to my mind with that was almost like, usually I don't see this either, but it almost made me think of her holding an urn, so to go along with that whole theme of really, really thinking about someone who passed, passed away, maybe recently, like I said, maybe even a while back. And looking at the Five of Pentacles, you could just really be depressed. So it could be depressed because of their loss, or maybe you're already in a depression and it has you thinking about them, like, I wish this person were here right now, right? So if that's the case, if this resonates for you, the next thing that came out was the Judgment card in the past. So to me this represents that their energy is definitely around you. You might already know it, especially you guys being Scorpios. You're usually very intuitive. So if you have been feeling like that, like their energy is around you, I definitely think it is, especially if you're a female Scorpio. And it looks like they're definitely going to be there to help pull you through some depression, because here's what I saw next. We have the Page of Cups in the present, right? So you guys would normally be represented by the King of Cups. But I saw the symbolism here, like, it looks like the background's a little bit cloudy, right? And then I see this as also you, the Knight of Cups, which would be the next step up from the page. And then we also see that, if you look at the background looks more blue, so like the actual like almost like the sun is coming back out, right? And then the Queen of Swords here, which is technically a Libra card, but again, we see more of a sunny sky than we had with the Page of Cups and with the Death card. And we had Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So, and then the High Priestess in the position of the environment. So for those of you, if this resonates, just know that that person is definitely around you. And this might even be saying that you do right now, this month, have an open pathway to communicate with them, however you might feel comfortable doing so. But yeah, it looks like they're definitely trying to help pull you out of depression, whether it's directly related to them not being around, like I said, or if something else is going on in your life and you were just wishing they were around. I'm really getting the vibe that they're with you this month. And, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you guys had an intense full moon that just took place. I'm recording this on the 24th, so there was an intense full moon that took place in your 12th house. There was technically another one before that. And now there's going to be a full moon coming up in your sign, so it wouldn't surprise me if this might resonate with a few of you, but it just jumped out to me specifically enough that I was like, I feel like I have to say this for someone out there. So hopefully that resonated with you, if that's the case. All right, now, sorry about that. Now let's get to the actual main spread on a more normal reading level here. All right. So, with the Death card in reverse, this could represent a few things. This could just be saying that you're feeling a bit out of sorts. You know, maybe you're just low on energy. This could also actually represent that maybe, you know, I'm actually looking at this and thinking about the card before the Death card in the Major Arcana. Well, let me turn it upright while we talk about it, because I know that could look confusing. The card right before the Death card in the Major Arcana is the Hanged Man. So to me, it could be saying that you're not quite ready to move on from something yet, right? So, you know, maybe you've gone through a breakup recently or something, or you've been contemplating doing so and you're just not quite ready to let it go yet. Just something or someone in general, I feel like, that you're just not ready to move on from just yet. That was the first thing that really popped up to me with the Death card in reverse. Because there's not really anything going on as far as necessarily as far as retrogrades. But yeah, it could just be that you guys are feeling a bit low on energy too. Maybe that 12th house full moon just took a lot of energy out of you. You know, as water signs, you guys tend to feel the full moons a little bit more than most anyway. So that could just be what that's pointing to. It could have just really zapped you of energy. With the Queen of Cups in the Challenger obstacle position, it's definitely possible that you could be dealing with a Cancer. This is normally the court card that represents Cancer for me. There's not really anything going on in Cancer right now. Well, actually, in the middle of the month, you will have Mars coming into Cancer, so it could be pointing to that, actually. And maybe that's when, you know, maybe that'll help re-energize you. Having to go into a fellow water sign, you know, maybe that's what that's pointing to. I'm trying to think if anything else comes to mind with this. You know what, this also to me, not to make it sound like a bad thing for whoever this couple to represent, but this to me could also actually coincide with that not wanting to let something go too, right? Like if we look at that cup, it's closed off. Like, you know, look at this cup here. Yeah, there's a fish in it, but that's a whole other story. But pretty much any other of the cup cards you'll see, the cup is open. You know what I mean? This particular one is the only one in the cup suit that has that really closed off vibe to it. So that also shows me that there's really just something that you're not ready to let go of just yet. And, you know, with the 5 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, that certainly would support that theory as well. That's actually a Scorpio card too. It represents the first 10 degrees of Scorpio. So if that's, you know, where your placement is, whether it's your sun, your moon, your rising sign, then this could definitely be resonating more for you. Especially because Uranus is actually in those degrees opposite you. So, you know, it's in around 2 degrees Taurus. So maybe that kind of took something out of your life very suddenly and you're not quite ready to let go just yet. In the foundation position, speaking of those degrees that we were just talking about, we do have the 5 of Pentacles. So this is the first 10 degrees of Taurus. At the time I'm recording this, the sun is in those degrees. It actually just met up with Uranus, actually. And so, you know, if you guys are watching this in May, then maybe it's just saying that something maybe during the last few days of April might have come along and had you feeling this way. But this could point to financial difficulty. It could point to just relationship difficulty. You know, usually it doesn't necessarily mean a breakup as far as you do see both people are there. It just looks like you're going through a really rough patch, right? I call this the in sickness and in health card, you know. So, you know, you could just be going through a rough patch, and that could be alongside with that Uranus energy too. It can bring some challenges to your relationship as far as independence versus, connection. So that could be something you guys are going through there. In the past position, we have the Judgment card. So to me, this usually represents something or someone coming back around from the past. So that definitely could be the case. So let's say, there was a retrograde in Pisces not too long ago in your fifth house, and that's a house related to love and dating. So maybe someone came back around during the retrograde. Maybe you guys ended up, having another falling out, right? But maybe you're still not quite ready to let it go, because that happens sometimes. People might come back around during the retrograde, or even just thoughts of them. Maybe you start to romanticize the past, and then you might have gotten back with them. And once the retrograde energy fully dissipated, it came out of shadow and everything, maybe you guys found yourselves back at square one, maybe with conflict, and now, you're like, okay, maybe you had high hopes for it, right? So now you're like, all right, well, what do I do now? That could be what's going on with that. In the present position, we have the Page of Cups. So, this could just actually say that maybe even this is more of you have someone from the past on your mind, and maybe you're on the fence about reaching out to them to reconnect, right? Maybe you're looking back at how things might have ended with that person, and maybe you're a little bit like, I don't know, should I really have ended things? Can we get things back on track? So maybe you're on the fence about possibly reaching back out to that person. Because what I always say with the page energies, I always refer to them as the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because if you look at all of them, to me, their stances look that way. It's almost like it's like they don't feel very confident. And, if you look at the cup itself, too, it's like it seems like a rushed, hurried type of energy, right? Where they didn't even check to make sure that, hello, there's a freaking fish jumping out of the cup. You might have wanted to check what was in it before you tried to offer it to someone, right? So could just be like a rushed, hurried offer. And then just feeling a little bit gun shy too, especially with the Death card in reverse. Like I said, you guys might not be feeling like yourselves as is coming into the month. Maybe, like I said, especially with that full moon energy in your 12th house, you just might be feeling out of sorts. And, now you're trying to come back out of it and maybe reconcile with someone. But, you're just a little bit nervous about how to approach it. And in the near future position, to me, with the Knight of Cups here, this would technically represent Pisces, so you could certainly be dealing with a Pisces, and since this is the suit of cups, it could easily be you guys as well. But the main vibe I'm picking up on with this is definitely connected to that Page of Cups energy, which is to say, okay, now you're feeling a little bit more clear about how you want to approach this person, right? Like I said, we have like the cloudy skies there a little bit. Now, okay, it looks like the skies are brighter. And now you actually get on the horse and make the move, right? You're like, okay, now I know what I want to do. So for some of you, this could be someone from at a distance from you as well, given that we have the horse there represent travel. So, and, you can't forget the fact that they also have the armor, right? So maybe it's saying because you're a little shy, maybe you just had to hype yourself up to a certain point to even get yourself to decide, all right, I'm going to try to reconcile with this person, right? Now you finally do it, but you're still a little guarded. Like, okay, I don't know how this is going to go, but you know what? I just have to do it anyway, right? I'm sick of being stuck in this 5 of Cups energy. I'm sick of feeling out of sorts, all turned around. Let me just see what happens, right? That could be what's going on there. With the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Queen of Swords. So this could be pointing to, once again, the fact that you guys did have that full moon in the sign of Libra, because this is actually the core card for Libra. But this could just be saying that you want to restore balance too, right? So, maybe you realize in hindsight that, okay, maybe I wasn't doing enough in the connection, right? Maybe I wasn't giving it as much attention as it needed. So, all right, let me go extend an offer to them and try to restore the balance, right? Or on the flip side, if you felt like they weren't putting in the effort, And, maybe initially you broke it off with them because you're like, well, screw this. You're not going to put in the work. I'm out of here, right? But maybe now, moving forward, you're like, well, maybe that was a bit of a hasty move on my part, right? Maybe let me see if we can fix things. But if that's the case, you'll be approaching it with an energy like, look, I want to work on things between us, but I need things to be more balanced, right? So that could be what's going on there. So either side of it, the main point is that if there wasn't balance in the connection, and that's what was causing all of this to begin with, it looks like you're ready to restore it, or at least to, put it out there that you want it restored if they were the ones that weren't putting in the work. In the position of the environment's influence on the situation, we have the High Priestess. So this points to just being intuitive. So this could be the person you're dealing with. Usually I see this as a Pisces card, sometimes too. So this could definitely be saying that you are linking up with a Pisces, or this is a Pisces coming toward you. But this could just be saying that you're getting back in touch with your intuition and really feeling out. And maybe that's even what helped you make the move forward, right? Maybe you were like really feeling it out, like, okay, should I approach this person? If I do, how should I do it? What should I say, right? And just, like I always say with the High Priestess, to me it looks like she has her foot on the moon, which to me represents that, her emotions are on display. She's being very open about them, but she also has them under firm control too, so it's someone very in touch with their emotions, but they're not going to let them get the best of them either. So that could be the energy there. Whether that's you, meaning that the energy at play is putting you into that energy, or the person you're dealing with is in that energy. This could even point to some of you turn into a lot of tarot and astrology readings for insight on, okay, well, what should I do about this connection? Quite frankly, that could even be what it is. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Hierophant, the Eight of Wands, and the Fool. So I'm going to assume that all three of these are hope. And if we see this, we have the High Priestess and the Hierophant, right? So that would be a good pair, right? That definitely represents a couple in that regard. It's like the female and male energies of the, more or less the same energy. And then you have the Eight of Wands, which would represent reopening communications with them, and the Fool, talking about a new beginning, right? So that supports what we've already been seeing here anyway. And maybe this is pointing to a timeline as well with, like I said, there's a lot of energy going on in Taurus. We're in Taurus season right now. So maybe this is just saying during the time of Taurus, you're hoping for those communication lines to open up regarding a new start. So, it's basically the same message in that regard, but hopefully you get what I'm saying there as far as the slight difference between the two. And then in the outcome position, we have the Three of Wands. So this is often referred to as the waiting for your ships to come in energy. I think as the month of May starts, maybe Venus will still be in those degrees. I think Mercury will already be past those degrees, because Mercury is going to be in Taurus like around the 7th of May. So yeah, maybe Venus will still be moving through those degrees. But besides that, this could just be representing the energy that you're in. Maybe you make your offer, right? Maybe you reach back out to them. You're like, this is, look, maybe you put established boundaries, right? Like, obviously, if you were the one who you realize that you were the one who wasn't putting in work, then you're going to be you want to be a bit more friendly about that. But if it's someone who maybe was trying to reconnect with you, but they weren't putting in the work, then you're going to be very firm with them about, all right, well, if we get back together, it needs to go like this, right? You might put that out there. And then this is just you waiting to see, are they going to accept the offer? What's going on? But what I do like regardless, like I said, that first message was separate from the main reading. I feel like that might have just been for a couple of you. But even in the main spread, if you look at it, there's definitely some tough energies at play here. But if you do look, we do see an increase, like going out of those cloudy skies towards sunshine, which is definitely a positive thing. And then that there too, that's the lighting of the cards definitely improves. So something to keep in mind there. All right, let's move on to the oracle cards now. First one you guys got was blessed. There's the artwork for it, and it's number 22. So let's take a look at those messages. All right, it says essential meanings. Something wonderful that is unearned and unexpected. Grace that is an unforeseen gift from spirit. The oracle's message. There are moments in life when, out of the blue, it seems that everything has been orchestrated by divine intervention. You feel blessed in ways that are difficult to express. It's as if the Red Sea parts in front of you and events come together to banish your troubles easily and naturally. You know deep down you did not deserve any of it, and yet here you are. This is one of those times. Let awe and gratitude for all your blessings guide you now. So, it's interesting there because even if that initial message that I threw out there before the main spread, like I said, that might have just been for a couple of you, that was interesting too because even for the main spread, maybe what that's saying too is even if you haven't been pining, thinking about someone from the past like that, maybe this is just saying that if you have been going through a really tough stretch lately, maybe there's just going to be some kind of divine intervention in that regard that helps turn things around for you. If that's the case. I hope so. That sounds pretty cool. All right. The relationship message says you are moving towards a deepening of intimacy wow, I can't speak. You are moving towards a deepening of intimacy in a unique and sacred partnership. You know you are meant to make this connection. This union, blessed by the divine, will bring transformation and beauty to the world. This is also a sign that, even more important, you're being called to a deeper intimacy with yourself and spirit. With this new development, you will see evidence of grace in your life. That's really interesting that came out too, because that was something I had in my mind and it totally disappeared. I was thinking about that at one point too when I first saw the cards, and then I just got lost in something else and forgot to mention it. But that could be what this is too, saying that if you guys are feeling out of sorts and really feeling like you're going through a rough patch like that, maybe that's saying that you are reconnecting with your spirituality, right? Maybe that's saying that you're moving back towards that, getting back in touch with that side of yourself. All right, and then the prosperity message. I know we didn't really touch on finances at all here, but hopefully this will give you guys some info on that if that was something you were looking for guidance on. It says, unexpected windfalls and good fortune come your way now. You're in a phase where any difficulties or obstacles that have stymied your success seem to disappear on their own. Be ready to receive. The windows of opportunity will open wide. Accept the blessings given to you now and don't forget to share them. So that's a pretty cool message there. Like I said, unfortunately, I just didn't really get much of a vibe as far as finances, other than the fact that, like I said, maybe this could point to financial difficulty. If that's the case, that sounds like a pretty good message there. So hopefully that ends up playing out for you guys as well. All right. Next, we have a card from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck, and you guys got Grasshopper Spirit. It says, take a leap of faith. There's the artwork for it, and it's number 30. All right, let me get that. It says, right now, you're poised to jump into the next level of your life and move forward into something even better than you could have ever imagined. When Grasshopper Spirit appears, it is a fortuitous time to take a leap into the unknown, for Grasshopper Spirit represents the innovative spirit that says, why not, and has faith in the powers of co-creation. You are being called to trust that this is the right time to go with that idea, relationship, or situation. Take risk, for abundance in all forms will show up for you. Wondrous things await when grasshopper spirit appears. You are not going to go backwards, so listen to your intuition rather than your fearful ego that resists any change and clings worriedly to what was. Luck is on your side. Jump up and forward with confidence, for spirit has so much in store for you if only you take that leap. So that's definitely interesting there. There was definitely some things that point to, like I was saying, not wanting to let go of something. We see that with the Five of Cups, the Death in reverse, like I said, the symbolism of that cup to me representing not wanting to let something go. So if that resonated with you, then hopefully this actual oracle card message will help shed some additional light on that for you. All right. And lastly, we have a mudra card to look at. So for those of you who don't know, I've been looking at pulling mudra cards for all the signs this year. And basically what a mudra is it's a hand gesture that you make usually while meditating. You want to hold it for 5 minutes or as long as 30 to 45 minutes. If you're not accustomed to meditating, definitely try to start with 5 minutes. That's going to feel like a long time for you too if you don't meditate normally, but if you find that it helps you and you want to do it more, then you could build your time up from there eventually. This is the actual mudra itself. And what they're meant for is they help to clear blockages, sometimes even physical, but a lot of times just on a mental, emotional level. And the keyword for this one is inception. And it's the Uttarabodhi Mudra. Hopefully I didn't butcher the the word there, but I'll put it in the description too in case you guys want to look into it more. But yeah, let me just hold this up so you could take a screenshot or pause it to get the messages there. All right, then I'll move it up so you could see the rest of the messages. So as you can see, it says benefits, soothes the nervous system, tones the large intestine, improving absorption and elimination, benefits the lungs and heart, serves as conductor of inspiration and creative energy. And it says the mudra may also be held in front of the pelvis with the tips of the index finger pointed forward and slightly down. So if that sounds like something you think would be helpful for you, like I said, I'll put that in the description of the video because it's possible I totally butchered the word. But yeah, and we'll wrap up there, guys. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you could check out the About section of the video for more info on that. If you want to follow me on Instagram, same thing there too. You could check out the description for info on that. And aside from that, we'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll talk to you next month. All right, bye.